Charge blade has the reputation of being the most complicated weapon. But is it really? To answer that question, I consulted several experts and discovered a dark truth. Let's charge right in. Charge blade is everywhere. But where did it start? Some of you might say, here, which is a great guess, but wrong. I found credible sources that tell a different tale. Charge blade actually started here. Charge blade. Charge blade? Charge blade! Charge blade! Is charge blade the most complicated weapon? Charge blade is charge blade. Charge blade over charge blade equals 1. Complicated over charge blade times charge blade over charge blade. Charge blade equals complicated. You. Live demonstration. So brave. Force of habit. Charge blade? What? But... My God, you're right. Charge blade. Weapon. Weapon is complicated blade. And there it was, right in front of my eyes. The clue that would tie it all together. All I had to do was open the envelope.
To find the answers you seek, simply ask Hornauthor, friend of the pod, future inventor of the quarter burger, bun burger, quarter burger, bun half burger, burger sauce burger, upgrade? What could he possibly know? What could you possibly know?
Hey Sash.
Upgrade. Is charge blade the most complicated weapon?
Charge blade is the most weapon.
I knew it. There you have it, folks. Charge blade is the... Wait, what was that?
Charge blade is the most weapon.
Repeat that one more time for me, charge blade.
Look, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. Let it complicated. Charge blade is the weapon. Complicated.
What could that possibly mean? What could he mean by that?
I'm still here, you know.
But I couldn't let cryptic messages like that hold me back.
Hello?
I just had to find the truth. I was invested.
Hello?
I had no choice but to follow the file crumbs. 1, 2, 3,575, 3,576. What's that smell? Megacorp?
Can I charge your blade, sir?
Hello, yes, I'm looking for... What did you say?
Can I help you charge blade? Oh, hey, Oopgreed, pronounced upgrade.
Hi, John.
Do you work for Megacorp?
Complicated.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to figure out where the charge blade.
Charge blade is the most complicated weapon.
But-
Ma'am, charge blade is the most complicated weapon, sir. Charge blade is charge blade. Complicated, the complicated. Most charge blade, the weapon. The weapon, the weapon. The weapon. 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 The weapon. Charge blade. The Oopgreed.
Bye, John.
So there I was. More questions than answers. Not a step charger to answering the question, is charge blade the most complicated weapon? There ought to be someone who can complicate the blade. Some charger must be missing. What could it possibly mean? Wait, play that by me again. Pause. Enhance. Enhance!
We don't have the budget for that.
Oh, look at that. That looks like... Could this be the next clue? Could this?
Charge blade is the most complicated weapon.
Oh, hey Zun.
Oh, hi, Zun.
Hey, Sun. Hey, Upgrade.
I'm trying to charge the blade if charge blade is the most complicated weapon.
Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade
Charge blade?
is the most complicated weapon.
Don't touch that upgrade. Sorry, continue.
Charge blade is the most complicated weapon. Charge blade is the most weapon.
Thanks, Zun.
Charge blade. Bye, Upgrade.
Bye, Zun. So, why exactly am I still here?
You're right. We shouldn't be here at all. We should
Not what I meant.
be out there. He's right. It was time to go straight to the source. Oh. One of my most defining skills in life is being in the right place at the right time. After all the hardship and suffering and research, once again, I would be both of those things when I randomly stumbled upon this guy. Widely regarded as the grandfather of public theory crafting, critically acclaimed Monster Hunter math guy, very involved with laying out principles for theory crafting that are widely followed to this day, inspiration and guiding person for a countless many casual, die-hard fan and aspiring theory crafters alike, even carrying over terminologies to other in dire need of math people communities. Words really don't do justice how much this individual has improved the theory crafting principles, network and baselines, and general understanding of the under-the-hood happenings of Monster Hunter. Meet Jinx. Hi Jinx.
Hi, Jinx.
Hello, Upgrade. Hello, Sash.
Is Chargeblade the most complicated weapon?
In my humble and entirely retired opinion, Chargeblade.
Such an inspirational speaker, truly amazing. Generations will feed on the wisdom of these words. Conclusively, we can now state with absolute certainty that
Good shot, boss. That'll stop him from finding out we are putting powder that makes everyone say charge blade is the most complicated weapon in the air. Heh heh heh.
and that's why Chargeblade isn't Giga or POP anymore. Now get back to work.
Hey, blade, charge blade, charge blade,
Charge.
charge blade, charge,
Charge,
charge
charge,
blade,
Char blade.
charge,
charge,
Charge.
charge blade, charge, charge,
charge,
Charge blade.
charge,
blade,
charge,
charge blade,
Blade. Charge.
charge, charge.
Charge blade.
Charge.
Charge.
Charge blade. Charge blade. Charge blade.
Blade.
Charge.
Charge blade. Charge
Blade.
What about switch act?
Do you work for Megacorp? That's what you sound like, by the way, just so you know.
Charge
Charge.
blade. Charge blade. Charge
Charge.
Charge.
Blade.
Charge
Charge.
blade.
Charge blade.
Charge.